Hello and welcome to my May wrap-up. I almost said June wrap-up, but it is currently June. This is my May wrap-up, and I know it's dark and I know I have a fan on in the background, but it is hot. And I do have all my blinds open on my windows, and this is just how dark it is at noon on Thursday. Is today Thursday? Thursday, yeah. Thursday, June 6th. The day that I'm filming this video. Anyway, yeah, this is my May wrap up. I almost said June again. Hopefully you can hear me over my fan. But anyway, yeah, May wrap up. Here's all the physical books I have that I had read in May. I read a total of 10 books, 2 audio, although I have the physical copy of 1 here in my stack, 2 audio, and the rest all physical. And it was the best reading month I've had so far this year because it was just fantastic. All of my ratings were either 4 or 5 or 4.5 stars. And yeah, that's it. Yeah, it was good. It was just a good month for reading. Good month for reading. Yeah, we're gonna jump right into it. I'm sorry it's so dark, but I'm not turning my overhead light on because it was making weird shadows and it looked bad. So it's gonna be dark. I'm sorry. And because I was really bad at keeping track of what I read in my reading journal this month, I'm just gonna go through the stack of how they are stacked on my lap because I'm too lazy to look up what order I read all these books in. But yeah, we're gonna start off. I guess I will talk about the 2 books that I don't have physical copies of right now. The first one would be A Feather So Black by the author. I don't remember the author. Laura Celine, something close to that. Lyra. I'm really sorry. Something like that. A Feather So Black. I had the beautiful Fairyloot edition, but I decided I did not like the book enough to warrant purchasing the sequel in the Fairyloot edition, so I will be buying the US paperback edition of A Feather So Black when I get the chance. I don't remember what this one was about, but I remember I had a good time. Fairies, changeling, swans, 12 dancing princesses. It was all full of fun fairy tale stuff, and I don't know, I just had a good time. It wasn't anything super spectacular, but I didn't have any complaints about it. And it was a nice change that the main character, I can't remember her name. Oh my god, but the main character, she was young, but the fairy guy is also her same age. It's not like, oh, she's 21 and this fairy lord is 500 years old and for some reason he's interested in this young 21-year-old. It wasn't like that. They were the same age, which was nice. Anyway, yeah, it was good. I don't remember what it was about, like I said. Yeah, I'm gonna stop talking about it because I don't remember what it was about. Sorry, but I did enjoy it. I'm sure if it was in front of me and I could look at the dust jacket, I would be able to tell you what it was about, but because I don't have it anymore, I sold it. Sorry. Anyway, and then the next book I read the next book I read that I don't have a physical copy of, I read audio, and that was Jade Shards by Fonda Lee, and this was all just little short stories that take place in the world of the Greenbone Saga by Fonda Lee, and it was just really nice. I gave it 4.5 stars because there were 2 stories that I thought were a little boring, but the others were really interesting to me and I really enjoyed, especially the one about Hilo and Wen. Like, it was so nice just to like experience their cute little love story like from the beginning, and it was nice because Hilo and Wen are really my favorite thing about the Greenbone Saga, their relationship and the struggles they go through and everything like that. And so and they're already in an established relationship when we meet them in Jade City, and so it was really nice just to get a glimpse into how it all started, and it was really cute and sweet, and I really loved it. Yeah, and then the other story I really liked in there was the one about Shay. We really got to know her more as a character, even though we do know her a lot. Like, we do get to know her a lot in the trilogy, but it was just nice to see her from before, you know what I mean? Like, she's in a completely different place at the start of Jade City, and so it was interesting to see kind of how she got there. So yeah, and that was 4.5 stars, and it was good. I really enjoyed it. It really made me want to reread the Greenbone Saga again, and I really think that that's going to be my next reread series once I'm finished with the Raven Cycle. Maybe I'll pull it out of my reread jar. That would be nice, because I am trying to stick with doing it at random, but anyway, doing my rereads at random, I mean. Anyway, yeah, those are the 2 books that I don't have physical copies of, and so now we're going to move on to the books I do have physical copies of, and they're on my lap. I really hope you can hear me over my fan. I know I mumble a lot, and I'm trying, really trying not to mumble a lot, but I can't turn the fan off because it is sticky today. It is so sticky and hot. It is supposed to rain, and I just want it to rain. I want it to pour. Anyway, yeah, first book on top of the stack, Howl's Moving Castle. I read this every May, or I at least try to. Last year, it took me from May until September to read it, but I was struggling reading last summer, so anyway, Howl's Moving Castle. This was a reread, obviously. I've lost count of how many times I've read this. I did listen to the audiobook this year, because the audiobook is a bunch of fun, and I just kind of wanted to chill and build some buildings on Sims, and that's what I did. I listened to the audiobook and built some cute little cottages on Sims 4. And yeah, no new thoughts about Howl's Moving Castle. I do have a Howl's Moving Castle video. I will link somewhere if you want to watch it. It is a disaster. If you want to watch me rambling and talking nonsense for 45 minutes, go on ahead, be my guest. This will always be a favorite. There's never going to be a day when I don't just have a blast reading Howl's Moving Castle. I love this so much. It'll always hold just a special place in my heart, forever and always. Moving on. Okay, moving on to the stack. Getting through all the paperbacks first, because that's how I have them stacked. Mixed Signals by B.K. Borison. This is the 3rd book in the Love Light series. I believe that's what it's called. I don't know what it's called. But it's the 3rd book. We're following Layla and Caleb. I wanted to say Connor. We're following Layla and Caleb, who were previously in the other 2 books. I was worried I wasn't gonna like this because I did not enjoy Layla's character very much in the other books. I hate that, like, in a romance book or even in just contemporary, mostly anything, there's always that, like, bubbly best friend that's just obnoxious. I hate that character usually, and she was kind of giving me those vibes, and so I was really worried reading this that I was not going to enjoy reading from her perspective, just from the vibes I got from the other 2 books. But I loved this. I gave this 5 stars. It was just so sweet and cute and adorable. So the premise is basically Layla is struggling with dating. Like, she's just going on all these bad date after bad date after bad date after bad date, and then finally Caleb, who is kind of like a mutual friend, acquaintance kind of thing, they know each other, they're kind of friends. He is at the same bar as her when one of her dates kind of flops, and he offers to drive her home, and they both are just talking about how bad they are at dating and blah blah blah, and so they kind of strike up this deal that they're gonna date each other as like practice, and so they can give each other notes on like what they're doing wrong, what they could be doing better, what they're doing well, and stuff like that. And it was just really cute and sweet, and it's very obvious right from the get-go that Caleb's only doing this because he's had a crush on Layla for a long time, and he just hadn't gotten the courage to ask her out. And it's just so sweet, and I loved it so much. I would even go so far as to say I enjoyed it more than the first book, which seems crazy because I absolutely loved the first book too. I definitely prefer this sort of friends to lovers over whatever you would... Second chance, I suppose, is what happened in book 2 with Beckett and Evelyn. Yeah, the characters in here were just so much better. I loved Caleb, I loved Layla, I loved the depths of their character. I felt in book 2 why I didn't really enjoy it as much is I didn't like Evelyn. I didn't think she was very much of a character at all. I thought she was just kind of a bland, basic person. But anyway, yeah, I love this. I'm gonna stop talking about it. I cannot wait for book 4 to come out. It comes out next month, and I am so excited. I can't wait. I don't want the series to be over, but also I can't wait to read the next book. Anyway, we're gonna move on. Okay, next book in the stack is Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone by Benjamin Stevenson. I read this for the Buzzword reading challenge, whatever it is. May was every or ever or something like that, and so Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone. I ended up giving this 4 stars. I thought it was good. It didn't blow my mind like the murder mystery of it all. I didn't guess like the big twist, but I guessed the whodunit of it all, I suppose. But there's a part of it that was like a big twist reveal, and I didn't guess that part, but I did guess the whodunit. But anyway, we're following Ernest. I remember before I opened the book, Ernest, and he is at a family reunion, and it's kind of... He's at a family reunion, and his brother is just getting out of prison, and so they're kind of all, it's a family reunion. They're reuniting and seeing him for the first time after getting out of prison, and someone ends up dead. And there's this whole big plot involving stuff that happened in the past, and so throughout the story, Ernest is kind of telling you like, oh, everyone in my family has killed someone. And yeah, he's trying to figure out the mystery, put all the pieces together and stuff like that. And yeah, it was a good time. I read this mostly up at my family camp up on Moosehead Lake. Will I show you pictures? Sure, here's some pictures. It's pretty, isn't it? Here's a video. The most beautiful sunset I've ever seen in my life. Watch, I'm not gonna put anything there. Anyway, yeah, 4 stars. I enjoyed it. I had a good time. No complaints. Although it was a little slow. It did feel a little slow. I think, yeah, it was a little slow. That's my one complaint. And yeah, we're gonna move on. All right. The Dream Thieves. I had started this one in April. I almost said August. What is with me today? Started this one in April, finished it in May. No new thoughts on The Dream Thieves. I'm rereading it. 5 stars still. Though I feel like I picked up on something that I hadn't really picked up on the first time, or the first couple times ever, because I think this is the 3rd time that I'm reading through the series. Or the 4th. I don't remember. Anyway, I did pick up on something that I don't think I had picked up on before. Either that or I picked up on it and then forgot about it. But I was like, that's dark. Anyway, yeah, no new thoughts. To the point where this isn't the right book. Why did... And I also reread Blue Lily Lily Blue. Oh man. Anyway, yeah, no new thoughts on this one either. I think I know everyone's favorite is The Dream Thieves, but I think Blue Lily Lily Blue is my favorite. I think. Yeah, I had a good time. Like I said, I think this is my favorite. And we're gonna move on to something else. That's not Raven Cycle related. Okay, next book in my stack. Biggest surprise of the month. Biggest surprise. I'm actually still in a bit of a book hangover. This was technically the last book I read in May. I'm still struggling to pick anything else up because this book was just so good. And that is Where the Dark Stands Still by A.B. Poranek. Poranek? I'm sorry if I'm saying that incorrectly. I did practice pronouncing it before doing this video. I'm sorry if it's still wrong. Anyway, I didn't know anything about this book going into it. It was a cover by In This Terrible Light You Cannot See, but the whole thing is sort of iridescent and beautiful. Look at that. Just look at how pretty. And the back is really pretty too. Well, you can kind of see on the back. It's shiny. It's shiny. Anyway, the only things I knew about this were that it was inspired by Howl's Moving Castle and Polish folklore, and I think I added it to my TBR immediately, and then I saw it in the store on sale and I bought it immediately, despite it being YA and despite the fact that I kind of stay away from YA these days. But this was so good. I have a big long list of books to read. If you enjoyed these books, definitely read this. Uprooted by Naomi Novik. For the Wolf, even though I liked For the Wolf for the vibes. For the Wolf, Howl's Moving Castle. Duh. What were the other ones? I had a big long list. I kept thinking of them. Those are the only ones that are coming to my mind right now, but I kept thinking that. Like, I was like, oh, it's like this. Oh, it's like that. Oh, it's like this. But it feels like it's its own unique thing. The Witcher, I guess, since that's Polish too. And some of the like monsters and stuff are the same type of monsters, although they're a little grosser in The Witcher. Yeah, just it was. I don't know if I would call it cozy. I never really felt that coziness. Just The Bear and the Nightingale. That's another one. It was everything. It was everything. It was it took me a long time to grasp how it was like Howl's Moving Castle. Like, I was going into it knowing that it was inspired. I was like looking for all the clues. And especially, I read this right after I finished my reread of Howl's Moving Castle 2, so it was fresh on the brain, and I was like going through, and it wasn't really clicking until the second half started and everything starts to get explained, and then you're like, oh, okay. And I just loved this so much. So much. Oh, After the Forest, that was the other one. So if you liked Uprooted, if you liked For the Wolf, if you liked oh my god, I just said them. The Bear and the Nightingale, After the Forest, Howl's Moving Castle, obviously. Just please read this. It was just so good. It was so good. I would have cried if I was not reading this in company. It was good. It was so good. And I almost don't want to tell you anything about it other than the fact that I loved it, and those are the books that if you liked to give it a try. The writing style did take me a little bit to get into it, but once I got into it, I was into it. But yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling because nothing that I'm saying is making any sense, I am pretty sure. Anyway, 5 stars. Biggest surprise of the month. Biggest surprise of the year so far. I love this to pieces. I almost wish it was a series, but it's not. It's just a standalone, and I'm glad it's a standalone, but I also want to read more. Especially that last line of the epilogue. Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking, and we're gonna move on to the next book I read. Well, not the next book I read, but the next book in the stack. These are not in the order of which I read them. Anyway, we're gonna move on. I really hope you can hear me over my fan. I know I've said that like 5 times already. Anyway, next book I read in May. Funny Story by Emily Henry. Look, I made it cute. Sort of. I did do a whole video of me talking about the book while I painted this, but I did not have the energy to edit it, so I never did, and so you'll never see it. I'm sorry. But yeah, Funny Story by Emily Henry. I gave it 5 stars. My favorite Emily Henry so far. I know a lot of people are saying that it's a lot like her other books, like some of the plot points feel recycled and everything, but you know what? I don't care, because I enjoyed these characters. I enjoyed the plot. I thought it was really funny. It's not quite as fake dating as you would think. Like, the fake dating turns into real dating really soon, really early in the book, but at the same time, you know, I don't care. I just had the best time. I was just so happy reading it, you know? Like, Emily Henry's writing just brings me so much joy, and so I was just having a good time. I didn't care about the things that were similar to her other books. I didn't care about that at all, because I was just having a blast. That's it. 5 stars. I loved it. It was a hoot. Yeah. The balance between like family drama and all that and stuff like that and the romance in this book felt really good. Like, it was perfectly balanced in my opinion. And sometimes in her other books it was sort of not quite balanced. Like, there was always a little too much drama for me. But not in this one. It was well balanced and I enjoyed it. 5 stars. You know me, I don't like too much drama in my silly romance books. I just want it to be a silly romance book. I just want to laugh and have a good time. I don't want the drama. I just want to laugh and have a good time. And that's what I did reading Funny Story, because it was a funny story. Alright, the last book in my stack. I read it in the middle of the month. It wasn't the first book I read, it wasn't the last book I read, it was somewhere in the middle, and it was another 5 star. That's right. I had more 5 stars than 4 stars this month, and no 3 stars. Anyway, I almost dropped all my books on the floor. Anyway, The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo. I was nervous going into this one because I did not like Hellbent. Even though I gave it 4 stars. I gave it 4 stars, Hellbent, because her writing is just so good. So I gave it an extra star. I would have given it 3 stars, but I gave it 4 because her writing is just so good, and I feel like she develops characters so well, and yeah. But anyway, we're talking about The Familiar right now. I loved this, okay? It's nothing, don't go into it thinking it's gonna be like dark, like 9th and Hellbent. It's not anything at all like that. This is a historical fantasy, 16th century Spain during the Spanish Inquisition, you know, lots of not great stuff's happening. So it is dark, but it's not dark like 9th House in Hellbent. And the writing style is very different, and the story is very different. Don't go into it thinking it's like those other books, because it's nothing like it. It's its own separate thing. Can you tell I read a couple reviews on Goodreads that were complaining that it was nothing like 9th House? 9th House. Yeah, that's the name of it, 9th House. I don't know why I thought I said that wrong. yeah, I read a couple reviews on Goodreads complaining that it was nothing like Night House, and it was making me so angry because their reviews were basically like, oh, it wasn't like Ninth House, 3 stars. Anyway, it's its own thing. Just because it's by the same author doesn't mean it's going to be exactly like those other books. Anyway, I give this 5 stars. It was slow and more romantic than I thought it was going to be. I did not think this was going to be a love story. What's her name? We're following Zia, and she has a little bit of magic, and she's working as a kind of a kitchen maid sort of situation for this woman, and this woman discovers that she's got magic, and she decides to exploit her. Kind of like in Howl's Moving Castle. I did get some Howl's Moving Castle vibes from this, I'm not gonna lie. Very, very vague Howl's Moving Castle vibes, but anyway. Yeah. What was I saying? Oh my god, it's the end of the video. You can tell all my thoughts have gone out the window. Yeah, so, the woman she works for decides to exploit her little magical abilities in the hopes that she can rise above her social status and be cool and popular, I guess. And yeah, that works. And Zia gets kind of entangled into this magical competition. And yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. And there's this guy, the familiar character, who is kind of teaching her how to use her magic, and they may or may not fall in love. Anyway, yeah, this is 5 stars. I don't know what else to say without spoiling stuff. Yeah, 5 stars. I really loved it. It was slow and sweet, and just, it was really about loneliness and just wanting more from life. Like the whole time, like Zia, she's questioning whether or not she should continue using this magic. Like, oh, it's wrong, like I could get burnt at the stake for this, but she also wants more from her life. She wants more. She likes the way that using her magic makes her feel. Like she feels powerful, and she's just trying to embrace that without, you know, going off the handle and getting herself killed. And it was just so good. It's weird to call this a quiet book, you know what I mean? I don't know if you know what I mean when I say like a quiet book. I like to describe books as being quiet books where, like, sure, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on, but like the most important things, like the character developments and stuff like that, it's happening like quietly, like inside themselves, and like they're slowly discovering these things about themselves throughout the story, and it was just lovely. I really liked it. Yeah, it's not for everyone. I understand that. It's not going to be for everyone. But it was for me. It sure as heck was for me. And yeah, I'm going to stop talking about it now, because I feel like most of what I said didn't make sense. Anyway, so yeah, those were all the books that I read in May. I guess I'll give you my little June TBR. We'll start with what I'm currently reading. I'm currently reading this book, Just Like Home, by Sarah Gailey, right? Yeah, Sarah Gailey. Yeah, my friend lent this to me over a year ago, and I have yet to pick it up, but I'm picking it up now. And I am 86 pages into it, so it's slow going. Like I said, I'm still in a bit of a book hangover from Where the Dark Stands Still. Yeah, and what else I plan on getting to this month is The Raven King, obviously. Finishing up Raven Cycle. House of Hunger by Alexis Henderson, simply because it's been on my shelf for a while, and I kind of feel like picking something a little dark and stuff. Oh. And also The Honey Witch by Sydney J. Shields. This is the Fairy Loot, May Fairy Loot book. I don't know if I will wait for the read-along to read this, or if I will read it on my own. I also don't know if I'm gonna like it, but we'll see. Told it's got inspired by Howl's Moving Castle. I've been told it was. Wow, there's no acknowledgements in the back. Or in the front. Well, there is an author letter, but I'm not reading that right now. I'm not reading that right now. Anyway, yeah, Honey Witch. I'm not sure I'm gonna like this, despite it being Howl's Moving Castle inspired. You know, it doesn't have to be Howl's Moving Castle inspired for me to like it, or the other way around. Doesn't mean I'm gonna like it just because it's Howl's Moving Castle inspired. Anyway, yeah, that's the last book in the stack. I'm taking it easy in June, I think. Since May was such a good month, I might as well just take a break. And also, I'm 12 books ahead of my reading challenge on Goodreads, so I can take a break. I can slow down. But I am gonna pick another reread, since I will be completing Howl's Moving Castle, the Raven Cycle. Since I will be completing the Raven Cycle this month, hopefully. I'm gonna pick another reread out of my little candle holder that has all of the rereads I want to do. Hopefully you can hear me talking and not just me shaking this cup around. Anyway, I'm gonna pick one. That's two. Oh, Poppy War. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. I did get the whole trilogy on audiobook. So, yeah, that works out. I will be rereading The Poppy War. And then hopefully I will be moving on to the Dragon Republic. After that, I will be listening to the audiobook on this because me and like high fantasy don't get along anymore, and I need an audiobook to focus on it. Like, I need to be listening to the audiobook and reading it at the same time. Especially with R.F. Kuang's books. Like, I did that with Babel. I had to read along to the audiobook, or else I was not paying any attention. And I know it took me a long time to read The Poppy War the first time around, so I have a feeling it'll be good to have the audiobook and the physical book at the same time. Anyway, yeah, that's it for the video. Thank you for watching if you made it this far. That's it, I guess. Yeah. Bye. I forgot to show you my scarf. How could I forget? How could I forget my scarf? I'm sitting on my stool right now. My chair is where it should be. And I'm sitting on my stool. I've almost put all my books away. I was putting my books away and I looked down and I saw my scarf and I realized, oh yeah, I need to show that off. Here's my scarf for May. It starts where the bee is. Yeah, look at all those 5 stars. This blue color is 5-star, pink is rereads, and green is 4-star. So yeah, look at all those 5 stars and 4 stars and rereads. Howl's Moving Castle is not on the scarf because I don't really count it as like part of my reading, because I've read it so many times and I don't feel like it counts anymore, when I could basically like push a button in my brain and like recite the whole book, you know, at this point. But yeah, there's my scarf. Look, I've cut, oops, I mean, I've woven them in. I didn't cut them. my ends, except for these ones. I haven't done these ones yet. I totally wove them in. I don't know what you're talking about. I did not cut them off. Anyway, yeah. There's June, starting at the B. Here's my big long scarf. It's gonna be huge. Anyway, bye for real this time.